Welcome, friends. I hope you're having an amazing day. And if not, I'm so glad you're here because today's message might just change that. Yesterday, we talked about the battle within, the struggles we face in our hearts and minds. Today, we're taking it further with a message that might just shake you awake. Stop wasting your life. Let's be honest. How often do we spend our days thinking that our best is yet to come? We push forward, striving for a tomorrow that always feels just out of reach. But what if the secret isn't out there? What if it's right here, right now? Together we'll explore how to be fully present in the moments God has given us and how to trust Him with our future. Think about it. Are you simply existing, going through the motions, or truly living the abundant life that God promises? It's easy to feel stuck as if life is passing us by, but today, we're going to uncover what it means to live with intention, joy, and purpose in God's plan. So stay with me. This might be the moment that changes everything for you. Now, let me ask you, are you truly here, listening right now? Is your mind and heart really tuned in, or are you distracted, thinking about something else? Take a moment and comment below if you're truly present. Let's focus together, because this might just be the moment that changes everything for you. Let's start with a moment of reflection. Not just watching this video or sitting in your chair, but truly present. Maybe you're already distracted, scrolling through your phone or thinking about what's for dinner. It's okay, we've all been there. Jesus, however, modeled something entirely different. In John chapter 2, we see his first miracle, turning water into wine at a wedding. Now, we often overlook the deeper significance of this moment. Jesus didn't just perform a miracle for the sake of impressing people. He cared deeply about the people in front of him and the circumstances they were facing. The host of the wedding was in a dilemma. He had run out of wine, and in that culture, it could have been seen as a disgrace. Instead of waiting for a more appropriate time, Jesus stepped in and solved the problem. He didn't just turn the water into any wine, he turned it into the best wine, and the master of the banquet said, "You saved the best till now." John chapter 2, verse 10. In that moment, Jesus showed us something powerful. God's best isn't in some far-off future. It's here, right now. The host could have assumed that the best was already gone, but Jesus surprised everyone with something even better. Similarly, God doesn't want us to wait for a better time to experience His goodness. He wants us to experience it today. This story reminds us to look at our current situation and trust that God's best is already unfolding, even if it doesn't look like what we expected. Jesus didn't just teach this concept, He lived it, whether He was healing the sick, feeding the hungry, or speaking to the multitudes. Jesus gave His full attention to the people and moments before Him. Think of the blind beggar Bartimaeus in Luke chapter 18. While the crowd tried to shush him, Jesus stopped and asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" He healed him because Bartimaeus was worth that moment. Imagine if we lived like that, giving our full attention to the people God places in front of us. Instead of longing for a future that may never come, we'd experience the richness of life right here and now. One of the most incredible things about Jesus is His ability to care deeply for each of us, no matter our status. Take, for instance, the woman who touched the hem of Jesus' garment. She had been suffering for 12 years, battling a condition that left her ostracized and hopeless. Yet in a moment of faith, she reached out to Jesus as He passed by in a crowd. Instead of brushing her off, Jesus stopped, turned, and said, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." Luke chapter 8, verse 48. This wasn't just a healing, it was a restoration of dignity and identity. Friend, if Jesus could stop for someone society had forgotten, He can stop for you. He sees you, knows you, and cares about you. Those seemingly insignificant moments in life that we often overlook. Do you ever notice how easy it is to brush past the ordinary? Maybe it's a conversation with a loved one, the beauty of the sunrise, or even a quiet moment of peace. God often reveals Himself in these small, everyday moments. In 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 11 to 12, Elijah stood on the mountain waiting for God. There was a powerful wind, an earthquake, and a fire, but God wasn't in any of those. Then came a gentle whisper, and that's where God was. How often do we miss God's gentle whispers because we're too focused on the noise of life? The moments we think are small can be opportunities for profound connection with God and others. It's in these moments that gratitude can transform our perspective. Take a historical example. William Wilberforce, the British politician and Christian abolitionist, once said, "Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together." His relentless fight against slavery wasn't built on one grand moment, but countless small, faithful steps. When we embrace the small moments with gratitude, we begin to see God's hand in every detail. So, the next time you're tempted to overlook something simple, pause. Thank God for the blessing of the now, but let's be honest, being fully present isn't easy. Studies show that almost half of our waking hours are spent mentally elsewhere. We're glued to our phones, consumed by the endless scroll of social media, worrying about tomorrow, or replaying past mistakes that we cannot change. Our constant engagement with distractions robs us of the richness of the present moment. Think about it. How often do you sit with loved ones but find your mind wandering? How many times do you miss the beauty around you because your attention is elsewhere? Jesus speaks directly to this in Matthew chapter 6, verse 34. "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." His words remind us that we cannot experience the fullness of life when our minds are consumed by what ifs and what was. By trusting God with the things beyond our control, we free ourselves to fully embrace the here and now. We are reminded that the present is a gift, one that God calls us to cherish. God doesn't ask us to ignore the future, but to trust Him with it. When we do, we can finally focus on the here and now, the moments that truly matter. Planning for the future is wise, but worrying about it is unnecessary. Why? Because God is already there, waiting for us with His grace and provision. When we waste time fretting over what's next, we miss the blessings of today. Trusting in His plan doesn't mean neglecting preparation, but it means living with confidence in His sovereignty. When we surrender control to Him, we acknowledge that His ways are higher than ours, and this trust allows us to experience peace that surpasses all understanding. We learn to rest in His promises and find freedom from the anxiety of trying to control every outcome. God's active work in our lives ensures that no matter what tomorrow holds, He is with us, guiding us step by step. The only way to be fully present is to surrender both the past you can't change and the future you can't control. Let go and trust that God is good, that He cares, and that He's working everything out for your good. Here's the hard truth. Time is fleeting. The moments we complain about today, like the chaos of raising kids or the pressures of work, are the same moments we'll look back on and miss. Time doesn't pause for us to catch up, reflect, or redo the things we regret putting off. It marches forward, sometimes gently, other times relentlessly, reminding us that every second is a gift we can never retrieve. Think about the opportunities you have right now. Are there relationships you're neglecting, dreams you're delaying, or chances you're too afraid to take? Time doesn't wait for the perfect conditions or ideal circumstances. It moves whether we're ready or not. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 16 urges us to make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. This verse reminds us to live intentionally and use our time wisely, knowing that the world around us is filled with distractions, pulling us away from God's purpose. Consider this. How much time do we waste dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future uncertainties? Each day is filled with potential, a chance to build memories, grow spiritually, and make an impact for God's kingdom. Instead of waiting for a better time, choose to act today. Whether it's reaching out to someone in need, pursuing a calling God has placed on your heart, or simply enjoying the beauty of His creation, every moment matters. Imagine standing at the end of your life and reflecting back. Would you wish for more time, or would you rejoice in how you spent it? The legacy you leave is built not in grand gestures alone, but in the accumulation of small, intentional actions taken day by day. Time is precious. Use it well and trust that God will multiply your efforts for His glory. Don't spend your life wishing away the present for some imagined future. Instead, embrace where you are, trusting that God's best is happening right now. Let's close with this powerful reminder from Psalm chapter 118, verse 24. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today is a gift. Don't waste it. Be present, trust God, and live with purpose. If this message inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how you're choosing to live fully in the moment. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more uplifting content. Have a great day, and God bless.